Hello snakes, my name is Dante, and today it's time to scale HoYoverse. Thanks Vargnos for providing me with some of the scans and also some of the Naruto scans that I may be using in a future video, who knows, but well, he just asked me to make a HoYoverse scale, so I'm just gonna make a HoYoverse scale because why not? I mean, it's the scaling for the verse can get a bit iffy sometimes. Some people are saying that HoYoverse is very strong. Some people are saying it's weak. I mean, Fate franchise, in terms of scaling, I mean, there's inconsistencies. But we're just gonna clear this up and just get it straight. So we're just gonna explore Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, then Honkai and Honkai Star Rail, and last but not least, Gun Girls. So we're just gonna explore the scaling for the whole HoYoverse and just rank it. So let's start off with Zenless Zone Zero. Now Zenless Zone Zero, it's not even that strong. It's literally just street level. I mean, there's no scaling for that verse. The only thing you can get from gameplay mechanics is street level and subsonic for velocities, but it literally has no actual scaling, making Zenless Zone Zero easily the weakest verse in the HoYoverse. And there's no sort of connection with the other verses in the HoYoverse, so there's nothing, So yeah, Zenless Zone Zero, I mean, we can skip that honestly, because it's friggin' fodder. Let's go to Genshin. Now, Genshin is a verse that, has different interpretations. So let's just start off by debunking a misconception of Versus Battle has temporarily upgraded Raiden Shogun's tier to multi-solar system level because of her destroying a imaginary space that has lots of stars. However, this argument can be debunked that this is just imaginary. It's just the stars are fake. They're not actual stars. So the HoYoverse, I mean, there's not much for Genshin, there's not much scaling, but we have seen feats of Raiden Shogun cutting an island in half, and that is consistent with other Archons scaling relative, Mavuika scaling to Goyosofoth or something. I mean, which is basically which is country level due to attack potency, So Genshin Impact characters can be scaled to island country level, with the unknown god possibly being planetary, as it is much larger than very large and can summon meteors. So we could scale the unknown god to multi-continental or planetary, but we haven't seen much contest of her. She's basically featless, but that's basically Genshin. I mean, and Genshin is nowhere close to the strongest verses in the HoYoverse. That's the tricky part. We're gonna start with Honkai Star Rail. I mean, so the Honkai Star Rail, it does have some good visual feats. Now, Honkai does have some good. Honkai Star Rail has some good visual feats, like destroying multiple solar systems and black holes and stuff with aeons. But Honkai Star Rail is connected to Honkai Impact. I mean, it has the imaginary tree, has wealth, and all the other stuff. So basically, there's a Sea of Quana. The Sea of Quana has bubble universes. These bubble universes are three-dimensional structures. That's free spatial dimensional structures. So, which with each bubble universe basically being a size. Each one having its own size, and basically Some can range from planetary to size to even galaxy or multiple galaxies. So the Sea of Quana itself is one higher dimension to the other bubble universes, making the Sea of Quana fourth dimensional. And it's basic being, three spatial dimensions plus the dimension of time. And bubble universes, some are larger than others. However, bubble universes are not infinite in size. That is one thing that you should notice, which means that this can also qualify for the many worlds interpretation, making the Sea of Quana multiversal plus, being or low complex multiversal, as it is beyond time itself. Can also be highballed to high hyperversal if you believe that Hilbert spaces scale to infinite dimensions, but it's debatable. So yeah, that's basically the Sea of Quana, which isn't even the highest point of the cosmology. So even one of the lowest points is just like 5D. So let's go to the imaginary tree. The imaginary tree composes of infinite futures and universes, and it's beyond the Sea of Quana, making it sixth dimensional, low complex, multiversal at low ball. What else? These dreams inside the tree are actually real manifest dreams, not an imagination. So it's stated to have infinite numbers, with the main universe having the lowest cardinal number, which is infinite, making so this would be high universal, the lowest, but since it's a hierarchy that transcends, then that makes it to high complex multiversal, possibly, as it does stack, and since conceptual infinity exists in there, and the absolute idea of self-being, that will make it to high hyperversal, as it has Hilbert space, the continuum hypothesis, compatibility of arithmetic axioms, and it's basically a multiverse full of countless universes and imaginary domains. So, and the thing is, MiHoYo actually confirms that all the HoYoverse games are connected. So which is the Honkai verse, which we're getting to the last part. There's the imaginary space. The imaginary space is a space that's outside of the regular world structure. So the regular world structure is just it's just mathematically consistent. It lets you traverse through the different subspaces and construct, transport. So, and it defies physics. I mean, we got the Herschers and the Honkai entities that come from that imaginary space, and encompasses everything from the tree. So, since the imaginary space was part of constructing the tree, this makes it high hyperversal. The Wind of Honkai, being a mysterious, feetless god, similar to the unknown god in Genshin, it's supposed to be the creator of the Honkai cosmology. So the Wind of Honkai is stronger than all the Herschers, except for one. And basically, the power of the Wind of Honkai comes from the imaginary space. You see, the imaginary space, the one that constructs everything, and in the tree and everything. So that's hyperversal. And the Cocoon of Finality, being an imaginary entity that resides in an unknown imaginary space, which is a source of all of Honkai. So that's where everything is like creating all the power. All the power comes from one source. So since it's in an imaginary space, you can say the Honkai cosmology is high hyperversal with the cocoon existing beyond those dimensions, those infinite spatial dimensions, making it low outer versal, as it is the one true Herscher core. And Herschers are nothing but shadows to finality. Well, is that all? Not really. Let's go in to Honkai Goken 2, or Gun Girls. So let's talk about Yog-Sothoth. No, not the Yog-Sothoth from Cthulhu mythology. Not the Yog-Sothoth from anything else. I mean, what are you thinking of? This is a separate character called Yog-Sothoth from Gun Girls. Now, Yog-Sothoth basically sees all of this, and which is the only character that scales to the cocoon, because Sa only scales to 10% of it, and had to transcend self, persona, life, and death to reach it. But you know, of course, Yog-Sothoth, the outer gods, you know, they exist before and beyond the multiverse. So since there is a higher dimensional hyperspace beyond all of that, I mean, this would make some of the outer gods like a few layers into low outer versal, and it's above, you know, all of that. So there is no concept of time space, as it is beyond spatial dimensions and it's beyond the time itself. This would make Yog-Sothoth and the gate that she guards baseline outer versal. So that's basically the cosmology. The characters can break, you know, the fourth wall. I mean, their speed can scale, but for speed, all right, let's go to the speed of the characters. I mean, we have some consistent light speed feats among the characters in the verse, and dimensional travel feats, since characters are capable of traveling between the infinite size dimensions of no time, then they would be infinite to immeasurable speeds. But the outer gods have no feats. They don't have any speed feats. They only have like observation feats and existence feats. They do scale in outer versal in terms of attack potency and powers and stuff, but they haven't shown any speed feats, so we don't know how fast they are. Maybe they are even faster than everything else. Maybe they have like measurable speed, possibly irrelevant speed, but maybe they're just immobile speed, because we don't even know how fast they go. I mean, this is, yeah, the MiHoYo cosmology. Seeing all of this, let's just rank. It is Zenless Zone 0, street level to subsonic speeds. Genshin Impact, multi-continental to small planetary with FTL speeds. Honkai Star Rail and Honkai Impact, high hyperversal with immeasurable speeds. And last but not least, Gun Girls, unknown, possibly outer versal, if all the statements are true and not hyperbolic, with unknown speeds, potentially immeasurable to irrelevant. So it is a strong game verse, probably stronger than God of War, Doom verse, but maybe on the same level as Devil May Cry and Shin Megami Tensei, but it's nowhere near the strongest verses in fiction. Like, not even the strongest game verses. Like Elder Scrolls scales much higher. Cookie Clicker isn't like, bro. Cookie Clicker scales higher than MiHoYo. I mean, I might actually make a video on the Cookie Clicker cosmology. Like, bro, it's insane. Anyways, and also in terms of anime, some people are saying it's the strongest anime verse, which is not, because it doesn't even beat Umineko, but does scale higher than a lot of anime verses. Like, it can go toe to toe with Gurren Lagann, and so yeah, it is actually strong. I mean, I used to think wasn't that strong, but yeah, I've seen some scans, and it's actually out reversal. So yeah, up next we got Battle Beast versus Ajani. So who you think would win? Anyways, congratulations, you reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, follow my Twitch channel, and share with your friends. Now, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and bye.